top 3 to 5 values. Okay, no, seriously, what are your values? What do you find important? Okay, so a lot of times we have these values and we say like we value health, or we value family, or we value, peace or community service. But the calendar ain't matching the values. When the calendar doesn't match the values, it shows that you're living out of alignment with what it is you truly value and what is in alignment with your soul. That is what I've learned. Like, being clear on my time, how I'm managing my time, directly shows me what I'm valuing. So today, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about doing a time audit. The importance of doing a time audit. One is that many high achievers do feel disconnected from their life. Like, they feel disconnected from their life despite external success. So you may be like, okay, I'm doing well in my career, I'm doing well in my business, but why is it that I feel like I'm an outsider in my own life? Why don't I feel happy? Why don't I feel joy? Why do I feel like I'm just pushing through to get the next thing done? And everything that you accomplish feels good temporarily, but it doesn't last very long. Because ultimately, you are just living to perform. You're living to produce. You're living for external success, but you haven't really taken the time to evaluate what is truly important to you so that you can live a life of fullness. Doing a time audit helps you have clarity as to how you are spending your time. Most people are on autopilot. Most people are just moving through life with very little awareness. Most people are not clear about how they're really managing their time. They are not. Like, do you ever get surprised by, like, if you have like an Apple phone and at the end of the month or however it works, you get like the screen time and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, I had no idea I spent that much time on social media, or I had no idea I spent that much time looking at YouTube. It's like, you don't know because you're not being mindful of how you're spending your time, right, in your day to day. So doing a time audit is really about getting curious. It's about getting curious, not critical. So this is not about being critical. This is about being curious, seeing, okay, where is my time going? How am I spending my days, right? And I really want to hone this in. Healing While Hustling, like this whole brand, this whole lifestyle, this whole business model is really about creating a life that feels good to you, a life that is in alignment with what it is that you value. Building a life by design, rather than living a life that was given to you, rather than just living on autopilot, rather just doing what everyone else is doing. Really being intentional about the life that you want to live. You cannot live a life by design if you don't know how you're spending your time. How you spend your time reflects your actual values. So I like to talk about it like this. So sometimes we have like we have lived values and we have values on paper, right? So how you live your everyday life is your actual values, is your lived values. I got really clear on my values about 6 years ago, probably more than that, probably 7. But I got really clear on my values. And your values can change. Let me say that too. Your values can change based on where you are in life. So for example, if you are a new mom, or if you're recently married, or if your parents are aging and need support, like your values change, right? Depending on your life circumstance at the time. But my values have been pretty much the same for a while. And my values are peace, freedom, growth, family, and health, in no particular order, but those are my main values. So there have been times in my life when I was not living those values. Okay, I had it on paper. I was like, yeah, I value health, but was I consistently working out? No, I didn't have time, or I felt like I didn't have time, right? But I wasn't valuing the things I said I was valuing. So once I got clear on what it is that I truly want to value, I had to start holding myself accountable. And that's what having values, that's what they do. They hold you accountable to what you say you're about. If you say you're about that life, them values keep you accountable to that life. And if you're not doing those actions, that means you're not about that life. Okay? So really being clear on, are these my lived values, or are these my values that, values I just have on paper. If I ask you what your values are, say for example, you say you value health, right? But you don't work out. You don't take the time to either, meal prep or make some healthy food, or, have somebody cook you some healthy food. Like you're not mindful of that. You may say you value health, but you haven't had a physical or, a blood work in the past 6 years, right? Or something. That's showing that you do, ideally, you would like to do those things, but you have not prioritized it. So it's a great way to get clear on what it is that you are doing with your life and what is it that you want to do. How do you want to move forward, right? So for example, if you constantly work, this was me, constantly working may indicate that you value productivity over peace. There were times where I would work so much, I would do so much, I would be so busy getting things done, crossing things off of my list, making sure I was productive, that I wasn't spending time with friends. I wasn't resting the way I should. I wasn't exploring other areas of my life that would make me feel whole and bring me joy. I was only focused on being productive. Being productive. As long as I'm productive, I'm happy, right? Another example is that, like, if you feel like you have no time for rest, you may have a belief that you must earn your rest, because as a high achiever, as someone who's a perfectionist, someone who's an overfunctioner, you may not prioritize your rest. You may be like, well, I'll do it once I get all these things done. But resting is important. Resting is an important part of being a human being, right? You need to rest. It is important for your mental well-being. It's important to reduce your stress levels. It's important to just sit and be present, to be still, to be at ease. You can't always be on the go. You can't always be producing. You can't be always in this state of activity. You need to rest, and not just because you're exhausted, but really prioritizing rest. But if you feel like you don't have time to rest, you could basically be thinking or leading with the belief that, oh, I can only rest when I'm finished with everything. But just like you schedule all of your other activities, schedule and rest. Like, and the data doesn't lie. Like, the benefit of doing a time audit is that it provides data, okay? And data, the numbers don't lie. If you see that you are spending all of your time doing certain things and not doing others, it's at face value. You can take it literally at face value. And that's why doing a time audit is so important, because it gives you that data to really make choices on how you want to move forward. So the goal here of doing a time audit, and I keep talking about the time audit because I have created a time audit tool for you. So yes, that is coming soon. Let me just get through this and I'm going to share the time audit tool with you. But the goal is alignment, not perfection. This ain't about perfection. This is about living a life that feels like it fits. Feeling a life that you are grateful, that you're happy, that you are feeling joy. Not maybe not happy, because we ain't gonna be happy all the time, but a life that you feel joyful in, a life that you feel at peace about, right? It's not about perfection, it's about alignment. But the only way you can get into alignment is to know your values. Time audits help map your current reality against your desired future self. So when you do a time audit, it gives you the raw facts. Like, this is where I am. This is where I am. Okay, let me just share this. Okay, I spent a lot of time, when I did a time audit for the first time, it was really eye-opening, because I spent so much time being productive. I didn't spend enough time working out. I didn't spend enough time in community. I didn't spend time like doing leisure activities. Like, everything was about being a mom, on my mom duty, and just getting stuff done. Like, it was no diversity to my life. And I was very depressed and very sad and very just like, what's the point of it all? Honestly, that's how I was feeling. So time audits really help you to get clear about where you are, so you can decide where you want to be. You can define the values that you want to build your life around. But you cannot make changes if you don't know what it is that you're currently valuing. We can design our lives. I have the crazy belief and knowing, not even belief, I have the crazy knowing that we can create the lives of our dreams. We can create the lives that we desire. We can create the lives that we want. But it has to be about, we have to be intentional about it. There's no other way. You have to be intentional. And you can't allow the external world to dictate what it is that you should value. And you can't allow the external world to trick you into believing that all you see is all you get. You can create what it is that you want in your life. I honestly know that. And I am in the process of building what it is that I want to create. I am on that trajectory. There is no doubt in my mind that I'm going to live the life that I want to live. Because I know what's important to me. And then I can start doing tiny actions to show what it is that I value. And then those tiny actions will lead to more actions, and to more, and to more, and to more, right? And eventually I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have the life that I have wanted, because I have been taking tiny steps consistently. And so can you. But you have to get clear first on what it is that you find important. And it's not enough to just be like, just aware of it, right? We want to take this awareness and do something with it. So when you have awareness around how you spend your time, it allows you to realign your schedule. It allows you to set boundaries. It allows you to figure out, okay, where should my energy really be going? Where do I want my energy to go? So like, for example, today I was supposed to be recording a podcast, and I was just like, it's been a busy weekend. Like, it was my daughter's 12th birthday. See, I got some henna on my hand. She did some henna on me. And this weekend has been a celebration. It's Monday. The day I'm recording is Monday. So this weekend has been really busy. It's been very festive. And Mama was tired. Okay, I didn't have time to prepare the way I wanted to, because I was really focused on making sure my daughter had the best 12th birthday, right? So I was pretty occupied, but I kept saying, you know what? I'm going to push through. I'm going to do the podcast today, even though I wasn't entirely ready. But I'm like, no, why? Why am I pushing through to get this done when, one, I don't feel prepared, two, things were a little off this weekend because it was my daughter's birthday. So why am I trying to make up for it? Like, I am building a life where I have the space to spend time with my daughter. I am building a life where I can take a few days off and just pick back up where I left off. I don't have to feel this pressure to perform. I don't have to feel this pressure to produce. It's going to all be in alignment. So I didn't record the podcast today, and that's okay, because the thing is, I am building a life that feels good to me. And the life that I want, yes, there is wiggle room. There is room to kind of change the dates on certain things. There is room to move things around when it comes to my family, when it comes to my daughter. That is the type of life I am building. There was a boundary there this weekend. The boundary was focusing on getting my daughter situated. So work did not take precedence, and that's okay, right? So having this awareness about what you value. One of my values is family. Right? So I know that family comes first, and my business is very important to me. However, I'm building a business that allows me to spend time with my family. There we go. So yes, awareness is great, but we want to not just have awareness, but we want to use that awareness to actually take action. Another thing I would like to highlight is that change doesn't require an overnight transformation. It's not about, okay, you get clear on your values, you get clear on how you're spending your time, and then the next day, like, we're not going to say that you value health, and then you go from working out one day a week or once every 2 weeks to saying, hey, I'm going to work out 5 days a week starting tomorrow. Like, that's not really realistic, right? It's not realistic for the long term, because you haven't built the skill to be consistent in that area. So it's about the small shifts. This isn't about overhauling your life and being, have it look completely different tomorrow. It's about being mindful of where you currently are, and then taking small steps to create the life that you want, to create a life of alignment, to spend more time doing the activities that bring your soul joy and peace versus not. Like, that is the goal, right? So the time audit is a mirror, right? It's showing you what you're doing, right? But then it's also a permission slip, because it's like saying, hey, this is where you currently are, but you have permission to change it. It doesn't have to stay this way, right? And that's the beautiful thing about life, that is the beautiful thing about being a human being, is that we have the chance to do it again. We have the chance to make changes. We have the chance to start over and be like, you know what, this doesn't fit. Let me do something different. So a time audit, I know sometimes maybe it feels a little bit, shameful that, you may spend a certain amount of time in one area, or you're not doing other things that you feel like you should be doing. This is not about shame. This is really about awareness and empowering yourself to know where you stand so that you can take action that is going to benefit and create the life that you want. This is all about living a life of alignment. Alignment with what? Alignment with your values. You choose the values. You choose what matters. You choose what's important. This is a life by design. I think we all want to live fully, right? I think we all want to live with purpose. We want to feel like our life is purposeful. We want to feel like our lives are full. We want to feel whole. I believe every human wants that, right? But especially if you're on this channel, like, you want that, but sometimes it's difficult because your level of worth sometimes is determined by what you produce, or what you're doing, or how other people are perceiving you. Like, you want that external validation. You want to prove that you're doing the work, you're figuring it out, that you get the stuff done, but that doesn't bring a quality life. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Believe me, I know. And when you think about it, oftentimes this desire to always want to produce and create and do and be productive is a response to, it's a conditioning. It could be a trauma response. It could be a wound of I'm not enough, the not enough wound. Getting clear on your time, how you want to spend your time, can allow you to move out of survival. And survival can look different for different people, but just because you are producing and productive doesn't mean you're not in survival. Sometimes the very reason that you are overproductive or, a high achiever could be because you are in survival and you feel like you can't stop, because if you stop, the ball may drop and everything collapses. So we live in a society that praises overachievers, high achievers, overfunctioners. We live in that society, but also it doesn't always mean like that's the healthiest way to be. We are multifaceted people. There are many parts to us. There are parts that you probably haven't even discovered yet, right? So it's not just about being productive. And if you feel like that's all there is to life, then that shows that there's something underlying there that is a wound. It's some type of wound. It's some type of wound there that hasn't been healed, that hasn't been dealt with. So this is where comes my time audit tools. Okay, so here is the time audit tracker that I have granted you all access to. All you have to do is, once you open a file, just go to file, go to make a copy, and then you start plugging in your numbers. So I already have like a sample time audit here. So this person, for example, sleeps 6 hours a night. They work 9 hours a day. So you can see, like, at the end, it all totals to 24 hours. So you want to put in how much time you spend in each area, but you want it to be for that day, okay? Not like how much you spend in a week. This is only for each day. Okay, so once you highlight all of the numbers, once you plug in everything, you highlight it, and then you go to insert chart. And then voila, it pops up in a pie graph. So then you can see like how much like the percentage of your time that you're spending doing certain activities every day. And this is super helpful. So for example, you'll see in this mock time audit, this person spends 2.1% of their time in intentional connection. So being with friends, being with family, but they spend 4.2% of their time being on social media. So is that really a priority? Do we really want to be spending more time on social media unless we're building businesses and stuff? Do we really want to spend more time doing that than actually spending it in intentional connection, right? So this really helps to put things in perspective. This is a great tool to just help you literally see how you're spending your day. So back to the video. you put in how much time you spend in a 24-hour period. And then when you're done, you can turn it into like a little pie graph, which is pretty cool. And you can literally see how you're spending your time. And it may surprise you. You may be like, oh my gosh, this is too much, right? But this is great because now you can see it visually. Like the data doesn't lie. The facts are the facts are the facts are the facts. The numbers are the numbers are the numbers are the numbers, right? It's not judging you. It's just telling you what it is, right? So this tool is really powerful because one, it invites you to sit down and really get clear on where your time is going. Then after you're done with that, I invite you to do a set of reflection questions. And I have a Google Doc, so I'm going to like leave the link down below, but there's a Google Doc and you can just plug it in. You can plug it in, and after that, I give you reflection questions. And the reflection questions go over like, you know, what surprised you, because this will be surprising. Okay, if you've never done a time audit before, this will be surprising because you're like, whoa, I didn't realize like I was doing that much or spending so much time in that area. Like, oh my gosh, my life feels so out of balance, right? So it will be a surprise. Okay, but then also I invite you to get clear on what are your values. Like, what do you find most important? What matters versus what is actually taking your time? So this is really a practical exercise to just help you get clarity as to how you're living your day-to-day life. So this is a tool. This is one tool that you can use to support you with building a life that feels like it fits, to building a life that feels like it's in alignment with who you are, that's in alignment with your soul. This is a tool. So I will be giving you free access to this. I am just like, I want to treat this as if like you're my coaching client, right? Like I want to treat you as if you're my coaching client. And this is an exercise I would do with a coaching client. We would do it together and like walk through it and talk through it. However, you can do this on your own. You just have to set the time, put it on your calendar, okay? Set the time, schedule it, and really take the information that you gather from this activity to create a better life, to create a life that fits, to create a life that is in alignment with your soul. So after you complete it, I really want you to come back and share in the comments, like, what did you learn about yourself? So you can just look down in the show notes. Everything will be down there. I have my ebook, Healing While Hustling Manifesto is there, but then also you'll have access to this, the time audit. All you have to do is put your email in and then boom, you'll gain access to this document. Funny thing, so I just realized when I was editing this video that I was totally chopped off. Like my head was chopped off in the video. So, you know what? It's all good. It's all good. I'm going to show my mistakes. I'm going to be so imperfect on this channel because I want to show you that it's okay to be imperfect. Like for so long, I have been trying to be perfect, been trying to do everything just right. And I'm over it. I am totally over that part of my life. So I am just showing up as me. So this is me. But if you like the content that I share with you today, if you like this time audit, if you like this activity, subscribe to the channel so I know that it's working, that what I'm sharing is working. Like it. Let me know that this helps. Share it with a friend who you think, hey, maybe they could benefit from it. I think we all could benefit from taking an audit of our time. Because life can just get so busy. Life can get so hectic. And so many things are vying for your attention. So once again, it was great having you here. I really hope you found this helpful and valuable. And I really hope that the time audit will just add more value to your day and that you'll learn something about yourself. So until next time, peace.